Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to the worst reviews ever. I got the manic genius in here eating sushi. What were you eating over there?
I just actually finished it. Yes, I was eating sushi. I had some salmon rolls. I had a what else I have? A California roll and a crab.
Okay, okay. Got Wally in here with the beard back.
Yeah,
looking mad young.
Yeah, we didn't know.
So when you shaved the beard off, did you have to go get like a new driver's license?
Yeah, you did. You got started everywhere.
All right, we got CLS in here.
It's a different person.
Amazing up in here. Who's that? Chewy in the back?
Yep.
Looking out the window.
Yeah, he over there chilling.
He's waiting for Manic.
Yeah.
His best friend.
And we got Casey Fred up in here with the Chiefs jersey.
Super Bowl champs, baby. What's up?
So you ready for that draft tonight, Casey Fred? What y'all shooting for? Man. You know, did you look at the mock drafts?
Hey, yeah, we looking at everything, but right now got my eyes on another receiver just in case my boy.
Yeah, y'all got need some receivers.
Don't make it out of court, so
Yeah, y'all better plus up. But all right, let me go ahead and pull these slides up, and we'll get started with this. So Manic, if you could go ahead and read that.
Yes, sir. We got Damsel. Hold on, make sure y'all can hear me. Okay. Damsel. Damsel is a 2024 American dark fantasy film directed by Juan Carlos Fresnadillo and written by Dan Mazu. A dutiful damsel agrees to marry a handsome prince only to find the royal family has recruited her as a sacrifice to repay an ancient debt.
Appreciate you. Now let me butcher these names. So, all right. Directed by Juan Carlos Fresnadillo. All right. Produced by Joe Roth. Produced by Jeff Christianbaum and Chris Castaldi. All right. So the cast for this movie: Millie Bobby Brown as Lodi, Ray Winstone as Lord Bayford, and she was on what was that movie? TV show? Millie Bobby Brown.
Stranger Things.
There you go.
Stranger
Fire
Things.
show.
Yeah.
Angela Bassett as Lady Bayford.
Yeah.
Brooke Carter as Floria. Nick Robinson as Prince Henry. Robin Wright as Queen Isabel. Milo Twami as King Roderick. Nicole Joseph as Princess Victoria. And Sharia. I'm gonna just as the voice of the dragon. So we'll go ahead and move to the rating slide. So all right, the rating for this movie, and we'll start with Casey Fred at the top. Casey Fred, what was your rating for this movie?
I actually gave it an 8.
Okay, so Casey Fred has it between very good and excellent. All right, Manic Genius, what was your rating for this movie?
I gave this one a 7.2.
All right, so you're in a very good territory. Wally, what was your rating for this movie?
I give this a 9.
Damn. So Wally's in
this
between
is one
excellent.
movie for sure. I have to give this a 9. This is up there. It's up there.
We watched Damsel, right?
Yeah.
Okay, shit. Maybe we got the movies.
If y'all wasn't watching this movie, then that's y'all problem. This was a 9.
That maybe I gave y'all Goodfellas or some shit. These ratings. CLS, what's your rating for this movie?
Same thing. 9.
A 9?
Yeah, 9.
See, I don't know what y'all heads at then.
Y'all understand the rating scale, right? Like,
we understand
that the higher numbers are.
I understand it. I understand it.
Amazing. What's your rating for this movie?
8.5.
8.5.
Just say 9.
All right.
It's close enough, right? It's close
So
enough.
You're not gonna bully her to
Peer pressure.
trying to bully her to.
So Amazing is in an excellent territory, and for me, I gave it a 6.8.
Woo!
Good.
Okay.
Yeah,
The actual-
y'all just don't love action movies. Look,
He probably just don't like that type of. It might not be his cup of tea. That's all. Might not be
I
his
gave
thing.
it a
The
7.2.
way that this,
I mean, shit.
the way this movie went.
That's
Oh,
what I'm saying. Coming from the guy, no, he likes Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. So I mean, shit, there was a dragon in it, motherfucker. Like, you know what I mean?
There's too much
Why
love
would you-
for him.
Huh?
Too much love.
I
What
said-
you mean? That was a hate story.
Doug,
I said for him.
like,
I said for him.
Oh, you said it was too
Oh,
long
see.
for him?
Too much
This,
love.
this shit was.
Oh, too much.
Let me
love.
break down my 6.8, and then I'm gonna
Yeah,
toss
'cause
it
you're
to
the
Wes.
outsider.
Wait,
I said,
what
dude,
was
you're the
Manic?
one.
Did
you're
we
the
get
one-
Manic?
Yeah.
What was
Manic
that?
got 7.2.
Yeah, I had a 6.8. So I'll go ahead. I'll start off. So I do like medieval movies with the dragons and all that, but this was like Lifetime with dragons.
Oh, yeah.
It was like too much of a love story, and I did think it played out a little too much in a cave. I do like the overall, like we'll get into it, but I do like the plot and the storyline.
Mhm.
But I just think they missed some moments, and even in the end, which we're gonna kind of go over when we talk
Oh,
about the
yeah.
change.
Good point.
I think there should have been some major changes, and it was too predictable. I think too flat. But definitely a good concept. So I do like I said, like the medieval movies with dragons and stuff like that. But yeah, it was definitely too much of a kind of a love story and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'll kick it over to Wally. Why'd you rate this a 9, Wally?
I rate this a 9 simply because how the story transpired. I mean, look, were there definitely some moments in the whole scenery that was like sort of predictable? Yeah, there were. But nonetheless, overall for how the movie went down and how the things played out and everything else, this was literally like
Mhm.
it's just this good. And I'm glad there was no replica because I would have been pissed.
Okay, so it's like originality somewhat. That's why you.
Yeah. I mean, granted, if there was something similar to this, which God, I hope it wasn't,
Yeah.
as far as movies wise, then I'd probably bump it back down a little bit. But other than that, for what this is and how this played out, it was real good. And plus, let's be honest here, like I'm gonna get further down into it. But when you like the one moment, like the pure one moment right there that you honestly looked at and you thought to yourself, yeah, this girl's screwed, was the bounty of names that are literally in that cave.
Yeah.
That got hedged. I'm like, what? And then this one's the only scrapper? Oh, okay, you already know what time it is.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. That was one-
RCLS. Describe why you rated this a 9 also.
Honestly, man, like, I mean, just to kind of add on to what Wally said, there was a lot of, I mean, like I said, the movie was, I thought it was exciting to watch, like, especially like when she got dropped inside that cave,
Yeah.
remember that platform that she was on, and because he dropped it down in
Yeah.
there. I mean, from that
Okay.
moment, that's when the action really started to pick up, because I guess because that part wasn't predictable at all, because we didn't know if she was going to survive or not. Like, we really didn't. I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, she's the main character, but yeah, I just thought just the fact that she was able to like figure out everything that was going on, like why she's being pursued by this dragon, and she was able to what was it? Oh yeah, she saw the names on the wall, and then the dragon she learned the dragon could talk, and then she wasn't really sure what to do. I don't know, what was it?
Okay.
I don't know.
So I'll go to Casey Fred. You had an 8 on this. So why'd you give it that high of a rating?
Because it was totally opposite of what the name is. A damsel is supposed to be somebody that's supposed to wait for the hero to come, and she was her own hero. She decided to all of a sudden bust loose and go ahead and say, they don't know me, and I'm about to show them who I really am. And so I just thought that was so cool because, I mean, you could even look up Destiny. You got Rapunzel, you got Cinderella, you got all these different girls that are like, Snow White. I mean, it's plenty of them out there that all of a sudden fit the bill for what the word and the definition of damsel. But she was like, nah, player, that's not me, and it was so cool because one thing, she stayed true to herself. And because of that, she was able to get out. And then, of course, we'll get into it later. But I'm telling you, most people, that drawing line of where all of a sudden, when she found out that her sister was in there and she was gonna have to go through the same thing, she was just like, "Oh no, not my sister." You know what I'm saying? Now, if it would have been somebody else, it would have been like, "Well, you know, Dragon's just gonna have a good lunch." You know what I'm saying? And call it a day. I'm going home. I gotta escape. But because this was her own flesh and blood, that was so cool. And so she was able to go ahead and really show her true colors. So, like I said, I really enjoyed it. So that's why I gave it.
All right, Manic. Why'd you give it a 7.2?
I just felt like I gotta give Casey Fred a little pushback on the whole damsel. Somebody did show up to save her. Her dad, he just sucked. He just wasn't a good hero.
Yeah, he had it coming. Her dad.
My man was like a mediocre knight.
Yeah, the most mediocre of
that
nights.
Yeah, but you gotta think though, she was still out there being scrappy, even though someone came to save her. So
Yeah, you know, I'm just messing with Casey.
Yeah. But no,
She
she
put
put
it-
it on for sure though.
Yeah, she definitely put in her work. She put in her work.
She did.
Like she definitely rescued.
I am here to save you.
Oh, man, I did like that part because he died so quickly. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, it's realistic.
Yeah.
I gave it a 7.2 because honestly, the first time I watched it, I fell asleep just in the beginning. And then I woke up and I was like, oh shit, they're in a cave. Like, how did she get in a cave?
Oh
Then
Lord.
Then I had to rewatch it.
yeah.
And it wasn't because I was super tired or anything. It just was like, I don't really care about this until it seemed like a fairy tale. Just like your typical fairy tale. So I didn't see it for like its originality, because it's like, you know, it's just like any fairy tale. It's like there's a princess, you know, things are going to be so great, and it's just like that's kind of like the standard script. Marries the prince, and then there's like some dark twist at the end. It's just like, well, the dark twist, you know, was a dragon that they had like an ancient debt to like repay. I didn't like it because I felt like the dragon was slow. Like, for him to be so powerful, like he was just like
her.
Yeah, her. For her to be so powerful, to just be like, oh, you killed the one thing I love the most, my children, and I'm only just gonna take your firstborn. Like, she should have burnt down that whole city, and like, it's just like this movie would have been over.
We would have been over.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then so she's like, you know, even you know, just like thinking about it, like seeing her dead, you know, offspring, like on a day-to-day basis, and like, oh, I'm going to subject myself to only the people you throw down here, your offspring. Like, it didn't make any sense, because it's just like, wait a minute, they keep having offspring and just more and more and more. Like, she didn't put two and two together. Like, this doesn't make any mathematical sense.
She couldn't figure
It's
it
like,
out.
Yeah, like it's like the dragon was slow as hell. I was just like,
I ain't gonna lie,
damn.
that's part of it.
That was a good
And
twist.
like-
That was a good little plot twist, I guess.
And it's like ancient times. So it's
that
just
was
like
a funny
this
little plot twist.
Yeah.
it's like the dragon like has been living confined to this cave off of this like deal
Yeah.
that like makes no sense. So it's just like, that's why I just had to like, you know, drop it a few points. So I'm just like, if I would rewrote this movie, it would have been over like the first 10 minutes. It's like, once upon a time, it's just like the dragon, the former king messed up and killed the dragon's kids, and the dragon got pissed off and destroyed all humanity. Like, end of story. But I do think it was there were parts that I felt like were cheesy in the cave, you know, and then like for all those women to survive that long fall, like, and then make it to that one point, like,
I mean, they hit branches on the way down.
well, I mean,
It's like vines. It was like vines and branches. They kind of
they hit branches,
They broke
and
their
all
fall.
she comes up with like a sprained ankle and like a few cuts. Like, you hitting branches from like, you know how far she
It was like
far she
vines
fell
and
from?
branches.
Yeah, she fell hella far. Like, then her sister fell hella far. Her sister's like, oh, sprained ankle, I can't walk. Like, what?
This is a basketball injury.
Yeah. Hey man, I think Joel Embiid threw himself an alley oop and went down. I was just like, yo, Joel Embiid was more injured. Oh, that's why I gave it, because it's just like there's a lot of stuff that just didn't make sense. But the special effects were dope, and that dragon was
dope.
OP.
Oh yeah.
But man, you made me think of something when you said something about like the dragon being a little slow because it's like you didn't put two and two. You remember when they did the flashbacks like of some of the other women? One was like Asian, one was black, one was like Puerto Rican.
But you gotta think about that. Like, don't get me wrong. That's
Like the dragon put that shit
you gotta
together.
think about it. The dragon's not gonna know all that.
Yeah.
Like we
Like
don't know
damn, they
the
fooled y'all
dragon-
with that.
Yeah.
I mean, but
That does-
but
oh
come
man,
on.
I'm about
Does
to
the
bring my
dragon see
score down
colored
now. I
on
didn't think about that till now until you pointed it out. I was like, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. The king was white as a motherfucker too. Yeah. Now let's see. Just had, maybe the dragon thought he had multiple wives because you could have multiple wives, right?
But yeah,
Yes,
Shorty wasn't
yeah.
even like light skin black. She was black.
He was
Like,
black, like me, dark as me.
Yeah,
yeah.
my man might have like NATO down in that pit. They were throwing everybody in there.
Oh no. Yeah.
But all right, amazing. Why'd you give it
Well-
such a high rating?
To burst Yale's bubble, I'm pretty sure they said generational,
Yeah. Yeah.
like each generation
Right.
of royal blood. So that could be mixed of anything.
Maybe, but you need the woman that mixed the blood with, though, right? Don't you need like a different wife? You can't-
And it was a fantasy movie, people.
It was. It was.
But make
Hey, don't
make a
ruin
better
this.
fantasy.
Still though.
Let's run with
Make
this.
a better,
though.
make
All
a
right.
better fantasy.
All right.
Like make it more logical.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I overall I just really like the movie. I like the little bit of like because she wasn't your normal princess anyways. Like when the movie started off, you would have thought she was somebody poor, like one of the poor
Yeah.
townspeople. She was like chopping wood and all that
Yep.
stuff.
Uh-huh.
So you already knew like she
Like a
was
farm girl.
like not she was not your typical princess.
Mhm.
So I liked it right away. This one I actually was very tired for, but I stayed up the whole time to watch.
All right.
Woman power. Chopping wood.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and jump into the open discussion questions. So I'm gonna roll the first two together. So would you recommend this movie to anyone, and would you ever watch this again? And I'll start from the bottom with myself and move up. Yes and yes, because I still thought it was a good movie, even though I probably had the lowest rating, but it was still very good. So amazing. Would you recommend this, and would you watch this again?
Yes and yes.
All right, CLS,
Yes and yes.
Wally,
Yes and yes.
the man and genius.
This one's gonna be a yes and yes for me as well.
All right, Casey, Fred.
Double yes.
All right.
That's the first time we should have had a special sound effect for this.
All right, what do you think about the plot of the storyline? We'll start with you, amazing.
I liked both. Again, I thought it was. I think like in the beginning, like Fred had said, when you just hear the title Damsel, that you think it's probably going to be like typical, saving this princess in distress. But I thought the plot was really good and the storyline just moved her along really well. Like at first, I had actually thought, which Jerk had pointed this out, he did know, when she had walked out and like she was on the balcony or whatever, and she's seen the other girl. I actually thought that was maybe like a sister or like something. I was not thinking it was like this other wife, but I just thought I thought the character buildup was very good. I really liked the way even the evil mother like told the people. I mean, she told them what was going on. So I mean, they literally were just sacrificing their daughters to save their people. I'm sure they focused on what kingdoms that were going under. But anyways, I thought I really liked the buildup of the characters. I liked I didn't think it was boring. I just liked the whole thing all the way through. I thought it was a good amount of kind of love story, but not really, but also action. And then I see Wally's face. I thought it was a good also mix for like men and women. Like when you think about like typical man movies or typical woman movies, I thought it was a good mix for both.
Oh yeah, I agree.
All right, CLS, what did you think about the plot of the storyline?
I thought it was good. The story was like she was saying, it was easy to follow. You know what I mean? It was it wasn't too hard to figure out. And I like what was the part? I think beginning you like you said, like Amazing was saying, you could tell that was it Elodie? Yeah, you could tell. You know, she wasn't just this. She didn't come from royal blood. You know what I mean? She didn't come from riches. Like she came. It looked like she was a farm girl. And what was the part? I think when she first got to that palace or whatever, and she was riding the horses. I think she was. I think he had asked her. I think the prince had asked her how she learned how to like ride horses and stuff like that. I think she said her mother taught her and stuff like that. So it seems like her mother taught her a lot, maybe before she passed.
No, that's fair. Yeah, I remember that.
So she just seemed to me she gave off that energy though, like she was just a fighter type. You know what I mean?
Yeah, kind of like a rebellious spirit and stuff like that.
Yeah, you could tell she was a fighter from the beginning.
All right, Wally, what did you think about the plot of the storyline?
Plot, storyline are both great. Overall, yeah, like I said, this was really solid. Like the same idea of like, when you heard the movie being Damsel, you thought it was just gonna be someone that's gonna get trapped up or whatever, and someone gonna go protect them. When in reality, the coin flip was she chose to fight back. Which what I find funny in this movie that no one didn't realize, which is why I said this was actually pretty good, is because if you notice, like in the midst of the movie, right, they gave her this little ball-like chain, right, and then of course they gave her that little knife. Notice she used those same tools to actually be in that cave. So my thing is, the funny thing about it, and not like all the others, as far as we can tell, none of them didn't really never fought because they didn't have those, maybe one way or the other, however it may be. So the fact that she was out of all the rest of them was able to use the tools, be clever, use what she found in the cave was very interesting. But nonetheless, I will say this, all the females that were pretty much scorned weren't dumb either, because they all left the map. They all left the trail for her to follow and get through it. The only problem was that trail led to a dead end of almost falling off a cliff. Yeah. Which was horrible, because that dragon came right there. And apparently that dragon knew about that cliff, because apparently, he knew about that whole she knew about that whole thing. And even to the point where she was climbing on those crystals, like it was like how you like rock climbing. She was climbing those things every single day. So she more likely knew, the dragon knew where she was leading up to. But the main thing was she knew she couldn't throw no fire, because if she did, that would have probably damaged her at the same time. So she pretty much got a freebie on that, just climbing there. The only crap part was, as always, anytime you do some rock climbing, if you step on one of those weak ones, you get to drop your behind. And lucky enough, she had that crown still, because that saved her butt big time. But yeah, but like most of you guys said, like even in the beginning, like she's pretty much a scrappy little child, because the father was still like a lord in his own realm amongst their people. So of course she wasn't going to be raised on some soft girly stuff, mostly in this case, right? And it was pretty evidence, because she was out there chopping wood while her sister was morally inside the home, right? So you can just tell the difference between the two overall and everything else. But one of the biggest ordeal that I knew that this was going to turn tables was when Angela Bassett's character came into the fold and was like, oh, I thought we'd get more acquainted. When she looked at the queen of the castle, she thought we'd get more acquainted. And the funny thing was, she was like, oh no, this is just strictly a deal. There is no acquaintance. When she said that, I was like, oh, something's gonna go on. Something's gonna get funny, because there ain't no way. And the fact that the father himself looked and came out that room as if he was like, he looked like he was told something in the worst way, like, oh, I got a mount of gold, but it's like at the same time, it didn't look like he was really happy though. Why? Because the price tag was too deep. So it was a lovely experience. This was a lovely experience overall, and I loved every ounce of her going out there, being in that cavern, fighting through all of that, knowing that at the end of the damn day, she was being screwed over because of other people's history. But other than that, I mean, yeah, like I said, there are definitely some few moments where you can somewhat look at it and be like, this is a little bit like, come on now. You really couldn't tell certain factor points. You really couldn't tell, right? Because of course, I mean, it's smart, right? The cut with the blood was smart because of the simple fact that as long as she keeps smelling that blood, she knows who they is. So you have the scent of it, but even to the point where the main character was trying to tell her, like, hey, I'm not them. Even if yes, you smell their blood on me because of this cut, but overall, I am my own person. I'm a different breed. You've been killing innocent girls left and right like a mug. So and that was just the interesting part right there. Because when they pulled it up, right? Because I remember like once they started up and they talked about the king that was once upon a time there centuries ago. It was like, and then we didn't really see what he really done. They just showed him getting in the cave, and there's like he was gonna fight off the dragon, and then everything else. But once they put that I'll say 360 by just showing like the actual baby dragons, and then you murdering the actual baby dragons. That was like, yeah, you really screwed everybody over on that. But it was just one of those like great tales of. This was like a great tale of revenge story. It was just that's what it was right here. Like it was just a great tale of revenge. Like you will pay this ultimate price of revenge because you pretty much took in something that was deep to me. So I'm gonna take something that's deep to you. Which reality wasn't really deep for anybody because they wasn't losing nothing more important.
Facts. But all right, let me pass it to Manic Genius. All right, if not, let me go to Casey Fred. I'll come back to you, Manic. So Casey Fred, what did you think about the plot of the storyline?
I thought it was really good. I think the storyline of, like I said, I mean, as soon as you saw the word Damsel, you're expecting for her to be a certain way. And of course, it always takes you to the Disney mode because Disney has put out this facade of what they think a damsel should be. And then you find out that this girl does not even fit the definition of the movie. And I just thought that was so cool. And then to be able to watch the story unfold as far as you were trying to figure out what's this dragon about and why is these people down there like they trying to kill the dragon. And then you find out that later on that they did kill her babies and that they have this covenant or whatever, that this is what they're supposed to do to repay their debt so that way their whole city wouldn't be destroyed. So you find out that there's always these girls were always in 3 because it had to match the killing of the dragon's babies that were killed. And so even though when you see the transaction and stuff and you start almost trying to put pieces together, because I never forget, she looks out the window when she's in the castle and she sees the girl down below and she's like, hi, type of thing, or at least smiling at her and stuff. And you start thinking like, okay, why are these two looking at each other? And you find out that she's going to be a victim as well. She just doesn't know it yet.
I thought she was the sister.
That was our first day too. That was the first day she arrived too.
Yeah.
And I
swear.
I thought so too, Wally.
I swear I thought that was the sister.
I knew already.
That was the Prince sister. I was like, yo. But when she wasn't there again, I was like, oh man. So she was fed. I was like, oh damn. No.
But what the part that really got me, and I don't know how you guys felt, is even though we find out that she's different, I don't know, inside of me, because the way Disney has always done their movies, I really thought that Prince was going to have a change of heart.
Yeah,
and come back. But what is he doing? Well, let's move on to the next one. Hey, baby, what you doing?
he wouldn't
trying to marry the next girl or whatever. And
he wouldn't stand up to his mother, yo. He was afraid to stand up to his mother.
Oh man, that just cracked me up. No remorse, just keep it moving. Just
he had remorse. He said sorry after he
yeah.
Sorry.
Oh man,
I actually like the prince.
did you?
He
Really?
had a responsibility to his bloodline to do that.
Why didn't he run at the end instead of just standing there with his eyes closed?
Yeah, he was a punk.
I would have
take that
ran.
back.
I would have stood there. I would have ran.
No. The reason why he's standing there because he suffered his
Yeah.
sins. He
Dude,
fought for his sins.
I would have ran, bro.
Yep.
He know the prices he was paying. He know what he did when he sacrificed all those girls. So he like, yeah, you know what? And I'm gonna do the honorable thing. I'm gonna take this.
But all right, let me get Manic in there real quick so we can jump into the scenes and stuff. So, what did you think about the plot or the storyline, Manic?
I thought the plot was like, it wasn't that great. But I felt like the storyline, really pulled it together. I didn't like the plot because there's just so many holes in it. Kind of stuff that I was saying before about the dragon being like borderline slow, being so powerful.
You can't sit here and act as if it has very visual understanding of color. Like we all know dogs see white and black.
Well, no, I mean that was just one aspect of him being slow. Like he's the most powerful thing there. Why is he her being slow? She's the most powerful thing, on that island by far. Like she could have leveled all of humanity for killing her children. Like if she was that pissed to be pissed for all these years, like she was still confined to a cave when she's the ultimate.
I mean,
so
true.
That's not a good revenge, though.
Yeah. Because let's be honest. Granted, yes, she could honestly sit here and say she could have waistlined the whole thing.
That's why the plot didn't make sense.
But let's be honest, that is just borderline BS. Okay, because let's say we change. Let's say hypothetically we changed it, right? She goes out there and goes waste them. The story is now she's going out there for revenge to go waste them, blow them down, everything else, right? And it's like, okay, now that's
completely different movie.
Whoever got to come and go after it. No, because the reality is no one would never go into that cave and find out why she's doing what she's doing. That's the whole point. So
what do you mean? Nobody would be around because she'd be wasting them. She was OP powerful.
That's my whole point. No one would ever know why she would do it because they screwed her over by taking her kids.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't see those baby dragons, you don't know the reason why she's doing what she's doing.
Yeah, but it's also like a way. It's a way for her to like cause suffering every single generation. If she just takes them all out at once. There's no like sweet revenge in that. It's sweet revenge when you can do it generation after generation after generation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But even more sweet revenge.
She should have burnt that whole shit down, and they would have called that like Dragon's Cove. Somebody would have stumbled across that area, talked to the dragon, but like, damn, why they call this? They would have figured it out.
Yeah.
But it's been a different.
Yeah,
no,
man,
fucking
the king.
And I think it's like she made a deal with the person that killed her children to like, I'm gonna get sweet revenge like over the generations. Like she should have made that deal and then broke that deal. Like she should have killed the whatchamacallit, waited a few generations, said, you know what, fucking, I'm just gonna burn everything down. Like, but they made the dragon extra slow, like extra slow.
So extra slow.
I didn't I didn't like that part of it. But like I said, the storyline once you got past the dragon being an idiot, the storyline was pretty solid all the way through. Like definitely the battle scenes were cool. I like the little hilly worms and stuff like that. I also had a problem. I also had a problem with the map. Like all these women that made it to this level, decided to like, let's do a map together. Like we'll get little pieces. So like they all explored the cave and made it far enough to come back to this place to like lead a map, write their names here because they knew they weren't going to make it. But if you notice, she didn't add anything to the map. She didn't write her name down. I don't remember her writing her name down. So it's just like
she don't need to.
She the last one.
Well, she's the last one, but she didn't know she was going to be the last one. She didn't know she was going to be the one to make it.
But remember, she had the map. So she had an idea of getting out. My thing is, remember, by the time
you tell me the person, hold on. You tell me the woman before her, the one right before, didn't have the map either.
No,
she had the map.
She did. And guess what? The moment before she even got out, what happened? She saw the skeleton. That was her freaking body and her corpse. She was done for.
Yeah.
But all I'm saying is,
right to that tower.
Point, so to that point that she saw the map was like one projection of saying, okay, there's an exit. But that exit was not really an exit. It was just a dead end.
Yep.
So after that point, it was like whatever. But now when she started, but what happened? Because her father and his soldiers came through, she was able to find out, oh, there's actually a different pathway, which no one didn't notice. And why? Because they didn't have no light.
Yep.
For that
You
much.
talk about the front door, pretty much.
Well,
no
yeah,
light.
you pretty much say there was. I'll say a side door, but whatever you would say.
But you're using the glowworms for light. You do like a lantern, you know, the little glowworms.
I mean, because they showed it. Literally, they walked in the cave and shit.
I got a question. Why? Maybe I fell asleep on this part. When she's climbing up and the dragon's like right under, why did you say the dragon couldn't blow some fire and knock her down?
Because you notice
the crystals,
sort of crystal glass type. She would damage herself. She did that same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She would damage herself. What do you mean?
Like the fire would reflect.
Cause you're right. Because they would literally reflect. Remember when she blew? Remember when when they battled and the girl was standing right there, like, okay, since you believe that I'm them, go ahead, blow me. But then when she blowed, that thing ricocheted right back at her. So my thing is the same thing. If those glass crystals would not melt, then she would know that she would get scorched because she would just do it already. So why she didn't do it? Because she knew that it would be damaging.
Okay, so then my next question is, when she climbed to the top and it was a dead end, and why didn't the dragon just meet her up there and just blow down?
She did.
And then the crystals.
She did, and she did.
She flew around.
She flew around.
But she left because her father was down there and her soldiers. So
I'm just asking questions at this point.
Oh yeah. This is good. This movie was good. Trust me, I haven't seen this shit.
I'll have to watch it again.
Because when she circled back, because remember she circled back. When she circled back or whatever, that's when she saw like the dead babies, the eggs, and then she kind of put two and two together.
Yep.
You see like the flashback or whatever.
Yeah. All right, let me tackle this question so we can jump in the scene. So I would say I definitely like the plot and the storyline. Like I said, I just think that they missed out on the end. And when I give my correction, I think that would solve a lot of issues for me. So if they would have had the right ending, this definitely would have been an 8 territory. Because I do like you said, the sequence of events that happened. Because even in the front, I kind of caught it, where I saw the girl on the balcony, and then you remember she saw the fire in the tunnels, that ceremony type stuff. And so when she was like, "Hey, who was in those hills and stuff?" And the guy kind of broke it down to her. And then when you saw the other girl, it's like, oh, okay, something's going on, with this whole. I kind of thought it was like a cult type thing or something like that. So when he dropped her in the cave and stuff, I was like, okay, I kind of knew what was going to happen, but definitely a good, I'll say plot and storyline and concept. So I'll go ahead and toss what scenes and performances stuck out. I'll start with CLS on this.
The scene, it was Wiley had mentioned it earlier. Remember the scene where was it Angela Bassett when she went in there? I guess it was the day before the ceremony. She went in there to talk to Elodie, and she was telling her that she had like a bad idea. What she told her that she didn't think it was a good idea for her to go through with the wedding. But I guess back then, I guess women they didn't really have equal rights. You know what I mean? They wasn't like. You know what I mean? Because I guess she was like submissive to her husband. When he came into the room, they stopped talking, and she was like, "Girls, we were just having girl talk." So it was just
her husband checked her, huh?
He did check her, yo. She was afraid. I guess back then you couldn't though, right? Because women didn't have equal rights back then, right?
Nah.
I guess
not
you couldn't.
Medieval times.
When she was asking, boy, he was like, "Get out of my face."
Totally submissive. So it was just like, and she was this is called her stepmother the whole time. They never like said her name. They didn't call her Lord or anything. It was just stepmother.
Yeah.
Until the end.
At the end.
Yeah. She was all hugs. She was hugging her black ass at the end.
Yeah. and then I like the other scene that I liked. I like when Elodie and the dragon are fighting, and then she makes she tried to scorch her with the fire, and then it ricocheted and it burnt the dragon. Like she could have killed the dragon. She could have finished the dragon off, but she decided not to. I guess because she wanted the dragon. I mean, after she learned the truth, she wanted the dragon to have get revenge for her babies.
Yeah.
Because she would have been doing her a favor if she would have killed it. It was just like, you know what I mean? They would have continued doing whatever they were doing. And this is like, So she was like, all right, let's make this right.
All right. Let me go up to Wally. What scenes and performances stuck out?
Yeah, so actor, of course, the main actor, of course, Ella.
Elodie.
Yeah, Elodie. Yeah, she was real. She top tier on this one for sure. She played her role very well. As far as now scenes that struck out to me, yeah, for sure. Her fight with the dragon was like just great. Just getting that understanding, going through the caves, doing what she got to do. Like I said, the fact that they gave her those things, I can only ask myself that they gave the other girls the same tools, because there ain't no way, there ain't no way. She's the only one that thought to herself, grab the knife, use the knife, climb, do all this, everything else of that nature. Now, granted, some of them had to do it because they could not be able to make that map without actually doing that thing too. But it was just like, for her to do it, it was just a little bit amazing. Other than that, I think, because what other plays were there? Like finding out the little slugs had way more tools than just being like a light source, but actually being a healing source was amazing, because you would never thought. And that was like, oh, okay, that's actually nice. So you got a nice little heal and plus a light at the same time. So you pretty much got 2 in 1 right there for another piece of toolery. And it's like, as you constantly climbing, is just, getting a little bit of an understanding, giving a little bit of everything else that goes along with it, which is, connected to the story, which is look real nice as it is. I think the only thing that I will say, like, as part of the performance that was a little bit so off for me though, was how the heck you're a dragon, you can't sniff out who the frick your prey is. Like, that was a little bit off for me, I ain't gonna lie. Because like, if I'm a dragon, I would think I would be able to smell where you are versus just seeing you or hearing the sounds. But
I couldn't tell. I was gonna ask. I'm sorry to interrupt, but it goes in with this. I couldn't tell if she could just smell royal blood, and she couldn't see.
That was the thing, right? She could smell the blood, but it's like, if she was breathing or whatever, I thought you would be able to smell her or get a nice sense ability of what she smells like, where you could just been like, okay, you know where she at. Which I'm like, wait, what? How you hit? Okay, that's weird.
Yeah, I think she could smell humans, period, too. So
yeah, so it was a little bit off, but other than that, I mean, like I said, those things were like pretty much top tier. What else was like in that mix of scenes that were really good? I actually like the ending part scene. Like, I really want to hear what y'all would say you would change different, because the ending part scene, when she came up in there, like with all the scorched up clothes and everything, and everyone was shocked and it's like, oh my god, she survived. Like, what world? And she looked, and then to tell them all off, like, you are all freaking screwed, and to look at the young little girl and tell her, take your family and run. And for any ass one of you that's smart enough to even realize the crap that these people have done, run to, and you saw people was running. I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, how dare you defy everything? It's like, what do you plan on doing now? Oh, I'm not doing nothing. She is. That thing was beautiful. Yeah. Oh, that was beautiful. I'm like,
that was great.
But yeah, it was just hilarious. But another thing is, you can tell, like, when you look at the scenery of this, you can see why, like, looking at the scene, because I was looking at this, I'm thinking to myself, well, wait a minute, why is she doing all the talking, like the queen, right? Why is she doing mostly all the talking, all the action, and not the dude that's actually the king? And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. That's right. You more likely is someone brand new, and she's actually the royal heir. That's why she's mostly doing all the barking, and you're just sitting there looking pretty. I was like, because I was like, at that point, I'm like, yeah, this is going to be funny. Because I know most people would be like, oh, this movie was woke. I'm like, nah, that's not ultimately the case.
But all right, let me get Manic. What scenes or performances stuck out?
Obviously, I think somebody already said it. The scene where she discovered that the leeches have like healing power. That was a super dope scene.
That was
dope. Yeah, also the scene where she used it for like to illuminate her way, because it just showed her craftiness. I'll say the beginning when she's chopping the wood, because it already sets the tone that she's different from most. That, it's she has she's not like the typical girly girl, where she can get her hands dirty. She knows how to ride a horse. Like, she's going to be crafty. She's going to be like, she's got skill sets, like life skills. So I think they do a good job of showing that. And then they showed like another scene, just the relationship that she has with her stepmother, it's like a level of just complete respect. They show that dynamic where they love each other. The other scene, which somebody already said, I'm picking all the scenes that everybody said already, but when the dad walks in, they're like, oh, just girl talk. But I think my favorite scene of all is when the father gets killed, because they do such a good job of kill them quickly, because like it is this OP dragon at the end of the day, and it wasn't like your typical like everybody wins, everybody lives happily ever after. Like, no, I like that. And they didn't make the dad like some special, like he was out of shape. He was a piece of shit. Like he sold his daughter. He knew once he figured out what was going to happen. It's just like he still went through with it. And it's like, oh, I'm sorry, daughter. I just couldn't live with myself knowing that you're in here. And I set this up to like get money. And it's just like, now you get a conscience? Like, yeah. Hey, bro, you accepted the money. Like you had to process like your daughter's going to die. Like it's whatever. Like, get money. Like, damn.
He was mad late too. He was damn near at the end of the movie. They was damn near rolling the credits, and he rolled in.
Yeah. So it makes me think like, dang, maybe the dad just was like, I hope that she's dead already, and then I can be like, hey, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna leave. Let me exit. So,
hey, look,
but I mean,
that he came, that was good timing.
No, it was terrible timing. He should have.
No, it was good timing. It was good timing.
He already sent his money to the lordship. He was like, all right, let's make sure that gets over there. Like, all right, let's go back. Damn.
Right when
the money's good, he was like, all right, I'll go back. Shit, y'all guilted me. Let me go and get her.
He waited for that wire to clear. He's like, oh
yeah. He was like, all right.
Yeah,
he was like, hurry up, damn it.
It's a good thing that he did too. By all means. Because look, I say it like this. The right moment when he came was right when she was on that clip. Anyways, if he didn't came and no one came, she would have been scorched right then and there. The movie would have been over, pretty much. At that scene, or she falls.
But he's still a piece of shit
on those stills.
And
I mean, don't get me wrong,
died.
But at least
I just I like how quickly he died, because he's a piece of shit, and then he died quickly. It was just like, and it was a gruesome death too. It wasn't like a smack him and knocked out and then he's dead. Like the dragon put the claws on him.
At least he came back. At least
slowly,
he came back, goddammit.
Slowly, like punctured his armor, and just like that just shows you how strong that dragon was. And it's yo,
of course.
Yeah, so I thought that was cool.
And everything.
Yeah, and like slowly pierced his skin. Like she pierced that armor like it was nothing. Like I can't even rip through a bag of potato chips like that when I'm hungry. But the way she did it was masterful. So,
maybe you should grow your nails out.
It's applause.
I mean, come on, you gotta go back to But
all right, let me look at Casey Fred in there. Casey Fred, what scenes or performances stuck out to you?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I am a very big Angela Bassett person.
Yeah, me too.
And so when I saw her, and I'm not gonna lie, and found out that she was married to this dude, I was like, and then this is supposed to be your kids. First thing came to my mind was like, what the hell going on?
Is it their mom? Is it their mom died?
Like medieval. I was like, days. It just didn't match. I was like, man, this movie about to suck or whatever. But I still enjoyed her part, and she played a good role as a stepmom. And like any mom, reality is that you're gonna go and be concerned about your kids. So that's what I felt like. That's what said, that intuition forced her to go up to the queen and say, hey, I kind of thought we would, and of course, that queen was like, this is a transaction, exit stage left. And then when Angela Bassett really, the stepmom found out at the end was really going on, you could tell she was still concerned, because she even brought a horse who, thank God she did, because when I think her name is Ellie, is that how you pronounce it?
Elodie.
Elodie. Finally made it out. She used that horse to go back to go get her sister. And so I thought that was really cool because that just let you know how much Angela Bassett, the stepmom really loved her. So I just thought that was really cool. And then of course I really enjoy I'm gonna mess it up again, LOE again. Just because
It's hey Casey, it's melody. Just take away the M. Elodie.
Elodie.
Like
Elodie.
melody. Elodie.
Okay. I'm still gonna mess it up.
He's like, okay.
Do your thing, Frederick.
English teacher. You know what I'm saying? I'll be at the principal's office every 5 minutes. But yeah, I really enjoyed her character development because one thing, like you said, you see her at the beginning, just a farmer's girl, but then you realize she is not the typical princess, and it shows itself really in the caves and how she was able to maneuver and be able to find out those, what was it, the leash, were they leeches?
Yeah.
That
leeches, slugs, you can, however you want to look at it.
Filter too, that
Glowworms.
she out and stuff. Because she did get burned on the leg, didn't she? And then
she did.
Had to heal herself. And I thought that was really cool because there was a lot of practical lessons that you found out that the chick had common sense and that she could use certain things to her advantage. And so I thought that was really cool. I mean, it just lets you know the girls previously before her, they didn't have that kind of common sense or that kind of farmer's knowledge to be able to put things together and kind of make things work for them. Like Wally was talking about with the knife and all that stuff. So I really thought that was cool. Now I did, Manny gave me some pushback, so I got to give him a little pushback. There was no dinosaur school for the dinosaur to be able to grow and be smart. The dinosaur was the last of its kind, so therefore it couldn't get wisdom from an older or wiser dinosaur. I mean, not dinosaur, but dragon. So therefore, it was slow. It's up in age. It's been there for a long period of time. I mean, it pretty much probably had Alzheimer's by this time. It was going to have a great memory or any of fashion, shape, or form. So therefore, it had to be slow. You know what I'm saying? Moving and killing and flying. And so, I just want to give that little pushback right there. You're right.
The slow dragon.
Oh yeah, hard.
But yeah,
I could accept that.
All right, but let me get amazing in there. Amazing. What scenes or performances stuck out?
I really like the scenes between Elodie and Gloria, and I was waiting for you to go over the screen with the actors because I thought they favored each other, where they literally could have been sisters in real life. I thought they looked very similar to each other, but I liked their scenes together and just showing how close they were. And then I also liked going back to, I know a couple people mentioned the stepmother. So Angela Bassett's character, I really liked how she was a loving stepmother, because a lot of the shows, it was, it just was different. Most of the time, the stepmother is like the evil, mean stepmother, where she was loving and trying to really build a relationship with the girls, and then ends up being the one who overall saves them. And then that's finally when the sisters embraced her at the end and called her mother versus stepmother. So I like that. I also, I'm trying to think, I think you guys covered most of the scenes. I liked the dragon a lot. I thought they just did a really good job on I guess the graphics for the dragon. And I also really liked the way that Elodie ends up saving the dragon with the glow leeches at the end. I thought that was just a good scene where she could have just let the dragon die, but she saved the dragon and also said they've been tricking you, and they need revenge now from both of us, basically. So I like that as well. But I think everybody else named the scenes. I really like the ending scene. I know that was a thing you mentioned a little bit, but I liked it. I loved the way they called her mother at the end, and they were going to run the kingdom together.
Mom.
It's in
All
there.
right.
They adopted a dragon.
The scenes that stuck out to me, I definitely like the one like Manning covered, where the dad came with those worthless like bodyguards. So
Got them all marked.
I love how they just got mowed down all quick.
Yeah.
So I definitely like that scene. I like the beginning scenes, like I said, when they did show the other lady on the balcony and how she was like looking at the fire in the mountains and stuff, and it was actually like the first girl because they were the second and the third. So it was like that was her ceremony. And then I also like the scene where she actually climbed out of the cave and didn't she walk up on another ceremony? Like there was another girl they were about to throw in there, her replacement. So yeah, I like that scene. That was a very, so it just kind of showed like how brutal they were. They were like, hey, shit, we got to get her replacement. Hey, who else needs some money out here? So they're like, hey, go grab her real quick. Hey, come on, come get y'all bread.
Mm-hmm.
So I like how she kind of like, messed up that whole ritual and stuff like that. So as far as performances, the main actress, she's definitely a great actress. Like I said, she Stranger Things, one of my favorite TV shows. So she definitely did a good performance. And I did also like the dragon overall, even though, like Manny said, was a little slow, but definitely, like the presence of the dragon. So
didn't you guys like the queen? Wasn't she like Jenny from Forrest Gump?
Was it?
I don't think so. Was it? I don't know. I had to look that up.
I think it might be, man, because I know I was looking it up.
Man, I really do.
Now that you say that, I think it definitely could be. I hadn't thought about it before, but she looked familiar.
Yeah.
I think that was Jenny from Forrest Gump.
It might be. It might be.
But
yeah, so no, just I'll say the worst scene for me was definitely the end scene with how it ended, and we're about to jump into that. So if you were the director,
tell me how this goes.
Was it Jenny?
Yeah, it was Robin Wright.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, she played in a lot of movies too. Moneyball and yeah, she looked different in there. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good eye, Frederick. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and jump into the fourth question. If you were the director or the producer of this movie, what would you change or do differently? And we'll start with you, Amazing.
Oh, I don't think I would change anything. I really enjoyed the movie.
All right, word. CLS, what would you do differently if you were the director or the producer? Would you change anything?
No, not really. I don't think I'll change it. Maybe make the ending a little longer. Maybe like an extended version where you can see what happened after they left. Could you just see them on the ship and they're just like sailing back to like what was like their village or whatever they came from at the end, and then the dragon's like flying next to the boat, the ship.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I would like to see what happened once they got back and they got settled in, and you know what I mean. They see this big ass them coming back with this big ass dragon. And it's like what? Where'd the dragon come from?
All right, Wally, what would you change or do differently?
All right, so if I would change anything in this movie, it would at least be just some set of few things. So I will say this: I'll give Manic this part. This was the one thing the dragon did do that was stupid, because right when I'm gonna just say Lady E, because I don't want to keep messing up her name, but right when Lady E was climbing up on that rope, the dragon could have just literally just shot fired the rope on top and then just drop her right back down. I mean, that part, because I think they would at least be like an interest at the lower level versus like climbing down. I don't know why everyone had to climb down to get into the cave. Like, that was the most stupidest thing. Like, they should have been like literally a walkway into the cave. Like, I don't know what was the point of that, but it's a nice cinematic part. But I think I would have just changed that just to add that little component in there. Another one, I'd at least hope to see that they gave the father a little funeral, like, put some stones on him, you know what I'm saying? Put his body on some stones. Probably dig a grave for him. Just send him on his way, a little bit of honor. What else was there going to be? I would at least did that. I would. That would have been good. That would have been decent, though. That would have been decent.
Burned his ass alive.
Man, get out of here. Get out of here. Stop that hating. Stop that hating.
You're acting like he
on.
deserved like a knight's death. That cat was pointless.
Hey, look, the fact
he
that
sold
still
his
came back
sold
was
his
good enough.
daughter
And guess
He
what?
did.
A lot of other men did too. Guess what?
For a bag of gold.
Did any one
For
of them
some
came
money.
back? Did any of those
Yeah.
men came back for their daughter?
and it makes
That's
me
a good
question
point.
what
That's fair,
happened.
Wally.
He put pressure
And it makes
on
me question and it makes me question what really happened to his wife.
He put a lot. He put a lot of. Yo,
Plot
he
thickens.
did put a lot of pressure on her, yo. Talking about we might not make it till next fall or some shit like that if we don't do this. We need this bread.
Mm-hmm.
I think he wanted.
I think he wanted. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, she did said like, oh, it's a small price for her to pay, whatever like that. But I mean, how much times have we seen most of these types of movies where everyone knows they're paying some type of price by dealing with someone else they don't freaking know? Like,
that's a good point.
Yeah, you think cash out question. You think Angela Bassett might have been the help, and then like once the mother died, he decided he wanted to dip in the chocolate, and that's when he married her.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I say that she definitely could have been close.
He said, I need something different.
He said, I need to try that.
He said, I need to try that. I need something different. I need something new.
But Wally, was you done with your changes or?
What else? Other changes I would love to see. Oh man. Oh yeah, another one. I'd at least hope the dragon could at least sense and smell. Like I didn't love the fact that she couldn't really smell. Like that was problematic for me. Like
the consistency,
yeah.
Like that was a little bit off for me. Like you should have been able to smell where she was in the midst of that all. Like I just didn't love it at all. It was just a little bit off for me. Another part that was also a little bit off for me too was when she ended up seeing the father coming back with his soldiers. It's like, well, you flew, but you didn't flew directly towards them to scorch them. You just flew right back into the cave and you just waited for them to come inside. I'm like, what? Like, I understand. Like, if we're trying to be just a tad bit realistic, like, I ain't gonna lie, you probably screw them over at that point.
Yeah, you would have just
but
burnt them
of
up.
course, at this point, she's in that mode of playing with her food, so I ain't mad at her.
Okay. All right, let me get Manic in there. What changes would you make to this movie?
I'd make a lot of changes, but I'll keep it simple. I would have explained a little bit more detail in the beginning on why they killed her offspring. I would have made it a little bit more in depth, like a rationale, like we have to do this. And they kind of just glazed over it, like, oh, King decided to kill this dragon that apparently was kind of not really fucking with nobody. So it's just like they thought they could just take on this crazy dragon. It's like it wasn't bothering anybody. Like, so I would explain that, like, made it a real reason, rationale for that king to go way out there to do that act. And then I would have made the dragon smarter, and then I would have allowed the dragon to be smarter, because I would have confined the dragon to the cave, like tying the dragon and the crystals. Like the dragon gets his power from, being in that cave and being close to those crystals, and can't fly too far from it for an extended period of time, just because that would confine the dragon to the cave, because that would make more sense why the dragon is not just free roaming and just ruling everything. Because like the dragon literally could just be doing whatever it wants.
Okay,
So
I would
the fact-
actually counter why that would not really be needed to be the case, because you know why? You know what confined her to that cave? The burial of her children that are dead, literally. Like,
What? No, I'm not talking. I'm talking about before that. Like,
well, I know, I understand what you're saying.
First off, she could still have the cave, but the fact that she can roam and go anywhere, like the cave is not going anywhere. No, the cave is not going anywhere. I'm saying I would have made it a part of the storyline or the plot that, hey, the reason why the dragon, hasn't experienced and branched out and like really dominated things and whatnot is because, these crystals give it a source of power, or something within that cave gives it like where it's like almost confined there. It can leave and like do damage, but it has to kind of come back. Something drawing and tying the dragon to it, because then it would make more sense why the dragon is just chilling there, like.
Right. So why would the dragon why would a dragon live in a cave without really roaming it? Well, okay, so from that perspective, okay, so then let me counter that part. Then I'll say this, right? When you're saying like give a nice reason, like why did they came in there and slay the dragons? Well, of course, more likely so they knew of the dragon. They just tell a switch lie, right, of what really was really true, right? They knew of the dragon. and they said that because of them knowing of this dragon, it could be a threat. So that's probably one reason why they went after the dragon.
Well, I mean, that's common sense. Like they're probably scared of, the thing. They don't understand it. So I get that. I get that point. But what I was saying with the whole, I would explain it in the beginning. I would have made like a scenario or something like that happened to where, maybe the dragon was like eating their livestock and stuff like that. And the dragon's just like, oh, it's free, cattle. I've been eating stuff all the time. So it's just like, okay, now we got to destroy this dragon because
there'll be definitely rumors out there of the dragon.
Yeah.
And then of course that. So of course,
but the thing is,
go out there and go slay it.
But the thing is, I would have focused on that in the beginning to like, hey, let's start because it just seems like humans just like popped up like, hey, we're just gonna kill your offspring and then like we're gonna try to take you out just for the fuck of it, like just because we know you're out there. That it doesn't make
I get what you're saying, right? Here's the problem, right? Yeah, but here's the problem with that because the issue with it is it was century years ago. So, but my thing, because when they showed that glint moment at the beginning, and they said it was centuries ago, that was going to be like, okay, well, from that point, even if they were to tell some form made up the story,
Wally really loves this movie. He's defending the hell out.
I know. He's trying to defend it, but he already had like 3 different points he would want to change.
There is literally no position like where you would be able to just sort of change that lineup. Like for me, there's no way. Like I couldn't. Yeah,
you just explained it a little bit better. You just like make the dragon eat some livestock, where it's like, hey, he's a nuisance. Let's get rid of him. Like that's all
they treated the dragon like a wino. Like it just hung out in the cave and shit, wallowing on their sorrows.
Wasn't it the reason why? But that's the reason why.
But also, like my point about the dragon being slow, like if you made the dragon have to be stuck to that cave for some like mystical reasons, because it's a dragon at the end of the day, it's shooting lava that it gets burnt by, but it can like hold it in its stomach. So there's a lot of shit that doesn't make sense. So it's just like allow the dragon to or add the dragon being stuck in there to where
like they casted a spell and
exactly,
man.
Like,
yeah, okay, I got you.
It's just like that's it.
It's a dragon in the movie.
What wizards?
And I would have made the dragon a little smarter.
Like, okay,
yeah, just simple stuff.
I
mean, Wally, you had 3 changes, right? You still gave it a 9. I had 2 big changes.
You know what? I
lower your score, sir.
I ain't gonna be mad at you.
Lower your score, sir.
I ain't gonna lower it.
Did you ever think that's the reason? No, but Manny, do you ever think that was the reason why the king did that? Because back then, I guess kings they were just power hungry, right? You know what I mean? They just did whatever the fuck they wanted to do, right? King, a powerful king.
Yeah. I could see it. I could see it going either way, but it just would have made more sense. Like, why are you going to pick on something or fuck with something that's not really bothering you? That's not really an issue. Mm-hmm. And to know it's that big and that powerful, unprovoked. Like you don't go to a forest and like try to find a grizzly bear and be like, I'm gonna slay him. Like, no, you do your research on it and be like, hey, let's leave that motherfucker alone. He only stays over here. We're gonna stay on this side. We're gonna hunt. We're gonna fish over here. We're not going over here with this grizzly bear is. Like, that's just common sense.
Mm-hmm. I'm kind of with Wally on this now that I'm thinking about it.
No, I'm just being honest. Like, where was the wizard in any of this? Like, let's be real.
It could have worked if they would have put a wizard in the story. But let me get Casey Fred.
Yeah, put like a magical chain, some shit.
Yeah, a little sorcerer, man. They was on some weird shit already.
But you turning it into Lord of the Rings now.
Yeah. All right, Casey Fred. What changes would you do, or would you just like keep it the same?
Actually, I thought about this, and I actually would only make one change, and I felt like the way I always think about and I know I keep bringing it up, but the Disney movies where everything is all animated, is lighthearted, and there's always some kind of like happy ending at the end, where the princess is always getting rescued, or she's getting kissed, or she's being brought to life, or happy ever after. My change would be that since she's letting everybody know the name of this movie is Damsel, but she's not the one, I would have killed the dragon. I literally would have killed the dragon and then would have went down there to where that wedding was and instead of having the dragon burn everybody, I would have just set that whole castle on fire. Just all of a sudden torch the whole thing with them all in it. And I would have said, this is for me and the dragon. And then would have just walked off into the sunset. That's kind of like gangster, but that's probably what the only change that I would have thought, because one thing, the way the movie and how she was compared to what they called it was almost like an oxymoron or something. It just didn't even match. And that's what made the movie work. And that's the reason why we never saw it before. And that's why it was an original. So it was just like, now we might have copycats afterwards, but you got to admit that was definitely an original. That's the first time we ever seen anything like that.
All right. I think she definitely had to keep the dragon because they had swordsmen. She would have got killed and all her efforts would have been worthless. So, but I do like that spin though. I ain't gonna lie. If they could have pulled it off, but let me go ahead and get my changes. So I think what they should have done at the end, because like I said, I do like the movie just to the end part. I like the fact that she did like bring the dragon back to life and they kind of made that pact with each other. But I think, man, when they went down to the castle, they should have prolonged the suffering. It was just like too quick. They showed up and then it was like damn near done. Like, I think they should have definitely killed the son and the husband, you know, just like the dragon like ate them or something. And she stabbed, like the girl would stab the son, her husband, whatever. Like, and then the mom,
I'm gonna have to agree with Sophisticated Jerk on this one.
I think like the mom, they should have like bolted her into the cave, like locked her in there somehow where she could never leave the cave. And she, after she watched her like husband and son die and they killed the townspeople, locked her in there somehow where she could never escape it. Like she would have to wither away in the cave, like knowing like her bloodline is like lost now. So I would have put that spin on it. I would have damaged the cave at all, because I would have been like, look, I would have gave that to my sister and moved the family in there and be like, hey, y'all take over this now. So we rich. We done came up. I got me a dragon. We up here. We popping. So yeah, I think that's how the ends played out. I would have gave that like definitely a 9.5 if that's how it would have happened.
And they could have sold those self-healing leeches, sell that for a good price.
Sell those on the market, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like we got glowworms, we got a dragon.
Remove some glowworms. I would definitely be selling that.
Because that was like pretty much the king. So yeah, I would have crowned myself. I'm like, look, we in here, we popping. So all right. We'll go ahead and jump into the last question. Like, now that you heard other perspectives, would you change your score or keep it the same? I'll start with myself. My bad. Let me go to the rating slide. So I'll bump it up a little bit because I did hear some points that I didn't come across. So I'm gonna go up to like a 7.5. Very good territory. All right, amazing. Would you bump
I'll jump up to a 9.
Damn.
It's a welcome to the party.
All right, CLS.
At 9. Still at 9.
Okay. The man of genius. What about you?
I'm actually going to bump it up a little bit, but not because I felt like the points were that great.
It's because Wally put that pressure on you.
Nah, definitely. I hated Wally's points. I wish he was still here so I could tell it to his.
Why did he leave?
His points sucked, to be honest.
I think his internet dropped because he was spinning.
Yeah. Now I'm actually only moving it up because Amazing said something early on in the show where it was a good mix of like romance for like a man and enough action, or good romance enough for a woman and enough action for a man. I definitely agree on the action for the man part, and maybe the romance element made it like slow for me to where I fell asleep. So if I was watching it with a woman and she could relate to that romantic element, then it's like, oh, it's actually a solid movie. So I'll bump it up to a 7.5 as well, from 7.2 to a 7.5.
Okay. Casey, Fred, you gonna keep your rating, or are you gonna bump it up or bump it down?
I think I'm going to just stay the same as the 8. I think it's very good, but I don't know. I mean, it wasn't like Game of Thrones or whatever but at the end of the day, it wasn't no classic Disney either. So, I mean, I think leaving it just where it is I think that's where it needs to be. So,
but no, overall, I definitely like this. I always like medieval movies, so I definitely thought it was a good movie. And my ending change was fire. So, but all right, we'll go ahead and close this one out. Y'all keep on sending recommendations, and we'll keep on reviewing these movies. But thanks.
I have closing thoughts.
Oh, go ahead.
I've been waiting to give you guys my advice.
All right.
I believe the ending was because it's going to set it up. Could be a great sequel where they take over the old kingdom, save all the people, and the dragon works as their defenders against others. So I think that it definitely needs a sequel. But with that, I also think the icing on the cake for the sequel would be if the dragon reproduces through like parthenogenesis and a new dragon is
God, can you
born.
stop being a girl?
You just gotta find another dragon.
Did you just look that word up?
Yep.
What does that
I
mean?
knew what I was talking about. I just needed the word.
Oh, okay. So a sequel, the dragon's going to reproduce, or like Hunter travels.
Yeah, that's going to be the sequel.
They got
but there also
artificially
needs to
inseminate.
be a prequel to show how everything came about with the war between, because my vision is the dinosaurs actually have all of the land and are living there peacefully. Don't hate on me, Wally.
No. I'm talking about Manic. You already talking mess.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I think it's a perfect movie for a prequel and a sequel.
I don't know about the sequel part.
I don't see more. I don't see more from this. I think this is one and done right here.
Yeah. But all right, Wally, did you are you gonna keep your score the same, or you gonna go up, down?
Oh, if I'm giving the same score?
Yeah.
For the lackluster of some few hit or misses right in the movie, I'll drop it back down. I'll drop it at 8.5. But okay, I still look at it around now.
All right.
Man, I know you ain't talking. For someone that barely even put into energy to even watch the movie. Silence you, sir. Silence.
But see, Wally, you didn't catch the end of mine, man. I was disappointed because you caught the part where I was just like, they should have tortured them a little slower. So
I agree to that part. I agree with that. Yeah.
But I was saying, like, they should have. The dragon should have ate the king. The what's her name? Elodie should have killed the son, and then they should have like trapped the queen into the mountain.
Oh yeah, no,
and she would have died. Oh, okay. You caught that. That was
yeah.
All right.
Did you hear the part where I was like, "All your points sucked"?
No one ain't talking. No one ain't talking.
My rating.
No one ain't talking, man. No one ain't talking. Because just as much as yours over here talking about, oh, it sucked, but it was a good movie, but it sucked. I'm like, Negro, no.
Well, you just rated it 8.5, but still kept it as a 9. So
I mean, in my head, for watching it, yeah, it was a 9. But for the lackluster of what the dragon was doing, yeah, I have to push back a little bit down and be like, yeah, it's 8.5 at least.
But 8.5 is still a good score. But overall, definitely a good movie. So, any parting words from anybody before we close this out?
Draft, baby. Jeez.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, we gotta go.
I'm gonna have to go and watch this movie.
Yeah,
again.
the Bears just draft Cliff Williams. Sorry.
All right, but we got some good movies lined up, so keep tuning in. But peace.
Peace.
There's gonna be no sequel. Amazing. Bye.